My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
There's all kinds of reorganization happening, and now when you raise an issue, you know exactly which committee to target and to ask them the questions. For instance, you are into environment and science, and if any matter comes up with, say, Galamsey and so on, and I'm sure that now you know, and all the committees have their chairs, so you know who to direct those questions to if you're looking for an alternative to a matter which the MPP is criticizing you for. So you should be commending them, shouldn't you?
Well, I think for now, Ghanaians are not really looking at committees.
Okay.
Ghanaians are looking at recovering from or getting relief from the hardship they went through the past 8 years. I mean, when you look at the committee members, they are virtually the same people who supervised economic hardship and brought a lot of hardship to Ghanaians. They are people who were part of the government. And so naming and giving themselves new titles have not changed from the people that we know they were in the past 8 years. I mean, you have people who drove this country into a ditch. And the same people have come and they want to rebrand themselves. And they think Ghanaians will soon forget or have forgotten what they went through. For us as a country or for us as citizens, we still remember very well the pain that we went through in the hands of these individuals. We haven't forgotten the haircuts. We have not forgotten the high inflation. We haven't forgotten the pain that we went through in their hand. And so if these individuals have come and they want to rebrand themselves, it has not changed, or it will not change, or it will not let us forget what we went through. For me, I see it as an internal management of issues, that especially when Bawumia, the former vice president, Dr. Bawumia, mentioned that his rivals were going to co-chair some of these committees. I see it well as an attempt to bring on board this individual and try to have some kind of unity within the party. So I see it more as internal management of the difficulties they're having as a party, especially because of the huge defeat that they went through. This government is focused. We are focusing on solving the basic needs of Ghanaians. We are focusing on delivering on the promises that we made Ghanaians. And that is exactly what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the government is doing. And so when the MPP call themselves as government in waiting and preparing for 2028, sometimes you just wonder how they take us for, because it's still so fresh. It's just like a mother who has gone through labor. You know, the first night, though she's happy for the child she has, but when she remembers the pain, it's something that sometimes it takes a while for you to go. The same pain, Ghanaians are still, or it's still fresh in our mind, and we are just recovering from the pain of, experiencing an inflation at 54%, a pain of buying fuel almost as high as 20 cedis per liter, a pain of, having lost your investment as a pensioner. You've invested in buying bonds, and they say you cannot have your money. These things are still so fresh. But for us as citizens, this committee does not really mean anything for us, because we still see them as the same group of people. If they really had policies that would make this country better, I felt they had 8 years and that they could have really rolled out this policy. So I asked myself, what is new that they are bringing? There is really nothing new that they are bringing on board, because they had 8 years to have done that. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia supervised an economy that was rated as junk state. And now, not too long ago, I think just 2 days ago or so, we have now, Fish has declared Ghana as being rated as a B state as far as our economy is concerned. And this just tells us that gradually we are recovering from that ditch and now heading towards the right path as a country. And so why would Ghanaians leave a government, that took governance from the ditch and now heading towards the promised land and decide that 2028 they will not vote for this government? Ghanaians are feeling the positive policies that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the government are rolling out. And we can even imagine when we had crisis with the Iran and the US war, ordinarily, if it were to be MPP, they would have blamed every hardship or every difficulty in the country to that. But what did His Excellency John Dramani Mahama? He called cabinet and said, let's look at the taxes on petroleum product and see taxes that we think we can do away with. Let's remove them to give relief to Ghanaians. That is how good leaders tackle issue. And that is exactly what this government is doing. And so I will say that, yes, they have formed committee as a organization or reorganization as a party because of the defeat in the 2024 election. But the people who have formed, or the majority of the people who are members of this committee, were the same people that were in charge of affairs when they were in power. And we saw what they delivered. So the question is, what is new? There's nothing new for them. They are just rebranding themselves. And rebranding, for me, the content is still the same. If you take a cup and you decide to use gold wrapper to wrap it and present it to me as gold, if I open it, it is still the cup that is in there. And that is exactly what is happening. While they are doing it to create some cohesion or some unity within the party. But for us as citizens, we know them. They are Ghanaians who really said that it was good His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and NDC lost power in 2016, and then MPP came. So now they have seen if they say MPP, what do they stand for? And when they say NDC, what do we stand for? The two parties can now, be compared well. A time when, fuel prices went as high as 22 cedis. A time where the dollar was being bought at 17 Ghana cedis to a dollar. A time when inflation went as high as 54% as compared to now. So for us, I would say that, we are focused as a party or as a government to deliver on promises made to Ghanaians to alleviate the hardship that Ghanaians went through for the past 8 years, and to also make sure that the promises that we made during the 2024 campaign or 2023-2024 campaign year are not just in paper, but it's being rolled out. And we can see a number of policies being rolled out. The big push now, when you go out there, the whole country is becoming a construction site. You go out there, inflation is now so low. Ghanaians are now having a breathing space. Salaries, we now have value for our money because the money that we have, the value has appreciated compared to 2022, 2023 when they were in power. Now we have some relief as far as hardship is concerned, and that is what we are focused on. For MPP, I think they should just know that at least for the next maybe 12 years or more, they will be in opposition because what we went through, and for the fact that a whole former Chief Justice, a whole attorney had to go out there to also protest because her money that she saved for pension, a time that, normally people will have a lot of health challenges and they want to use to buy medication and to take care of themselves. This money has been forcefully taken away from them because of the mismanagement of the then government. And so for us, I can always wish them well, but to just tell them that they cannot, or they are not really a party or a government in waiting. They should just allow NDC to take the country to the promised land, and they should just learn a lot from the mistakes they have done.
Aren't you worried as a political party that your rivals, which is the New Patriotic Party under the leadership of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, have been able to bring all 4 rivals to co-chair these committees? So you have the likes of Mr. Kennedy Ejapon, who is the co-chair for, I believe, is employment and jobs. And then you have Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, who is with education. You have Barney Champon, security and intelligence. And then you also have, what's the name of the other? I'm yet to say, I don't know whether Kwabena, I need to check whether Kwabena Ejapon is somewhere.
Housing.
Ellen, he's under housing. I mean,
housing and human something.
Exactly.
Something
I mean, doesn't that make you a bit uncomfortable? Which is that the unity which the party has been seeking to achieve is on course, and the more united the party is, perhaps then you should be careful.
You see, as I indicated, these men were part of the government. I mean, when we went through those excruciating pain,
but Ghanaians can be forgiven.
How do you? I mean, well, I wouldn't want to utter words that I would not want to.
We have heard the flag bearer of the party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, saying that yes, we came to power, we did some things right. We also didn't get some things right. We're sorry. He said that not once, not twice. And you still think that Ghanaians would still have all the ill feelings they had against them before 2024?
His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, for me, he's finished as a person, in the sense that, look, this man was sold to us as a messiah, an economic messiah. That when he comes to the presidency, Ghanaians were going to be relieved. Things, I mean, he mentioned the fact that if we were going to buy phones, they were going to sell phones 1 cedi, 1 cedi. If you have 1 cedi, you can, take an iPhone and that kind of thing. And this man came to the presidency. What did we see? He eventually ran, at the point, he was avoiding issues related to economic of this country. He now took another tangent altogether, which we all know that he was not an expert in. That was the IT. Talked about digitalization. Every statement he made, he would not conclude it without mentioning digitalization. Meanwhile, it was sold to us as economic whiskey. For me, these individuals were part of the government then, and Ghanaians went through something we've never gone through. Ghana, as a country, we never went through domestic exchange program. But for the first time, we had to go. Industry, businesses suffered because of that.
Okay.
And these same people have packaged themselves. What policy are they bringing that they could not deliver those policies during their tenure?
Okay.
For me, as an individual, I think I see it more as just the usual political or usual internal unity that they are trying to bring. But if they are talking about internal unity, then they should rather be chasing Ala Chemati because he's gone away with a lot of his support. I mean, a lot of the supporters of MPP. If they are talking about unity within MPP, then they should be going to talk to Dr. Weku Brobe. He should be talking to somebody like Dr. Nyahu
just last week.
And a number of them, including Alan Chemati.
Just last week.
Yes, I heard about that he visited Weku Brobe trying to bring. Everywhere. But then the issue is that why didn't he visit him when they were in power? Why didn't they bring him on board when they were in power? Is it because now they are in an opposition, so they need him, they need his followers to come on board? Look, if the party needs to rebrand itself and build itself, then it should be chasing people like, I've just forgotten.
What's that?
The new party that is being formed.
United Party.
United Party.
UP.
The UP.
And bring one
I
of
mean,
them
the
on board.
director of communication, brilliant guy, Daku. And then this Solomon. These are
Lusu.
great guys, people with great, mind. They should bring them. That is what we can be talking about unity. You bring people who are broken away, not just regrouping the same group of people. For me, as a party, I mean, as an individual or as a Ghanaian, as I said, these same people, yes, when you see their picture, what reminds me is the hardship we went through as a country. When I see the same people or the list, what I remember is the high inflation. When I see the list, what I remember is our children in school who were being fed, 2 spoons of beans, and children who did not have sugar to drink porridge. When I see the list, what I remember is our kids sleeping on the floor because we didn't have enough beds to take care of them. What I also remember when I see the list is students who as young as 14, 13 years are being made to go and hire a room outside because they are supposed to be in boarding house, but we didn't have enough infrastructure.
All right.
And so they had to rent out there to
right.
When I see the list, what I remember is also the shift system, where you will never remember even your mates because when you were in first year, you never met the Form 3 people. So when you complete school and say, I also attended Achimota, it's like, which year? It mentions, I should have known you. But because of the shift system, they never met. So for me, it is just an internal thing, and that would not make Ghanaians to forget what they went through in 2023.
You heard your
great women in NDC and also the great women out there, or Ghanaian women, want to say, Aiko. It's not easy taking care of kids. Mother's Day is celebrated as a special day because at times you wonder where we get the strength from to take care of kids, especially when you have a newborn.
Yeah.
It's like the whole night. There's nothing like sleep for you. And for some of us who had twins, when you struggle with one and it's asleep, the other is up. So almost the whole night. But there's always that special grace. Women are people who are able to really accommodate kids and to bring up kids in a manner that society expects of every family. Kids are more attached to their parents in most cases more attached to their mothers in most cases than their fathers. Sometimes it's because we spend more hours with the kids than their fathers. I know instances where women go extra mile, sometimes especially in instances where there's some financial challenges at home. Some women go extra mile to sell their cloth. If you understand women, cloth is something that we really cherish. There are women who buy cloth and keep, in their bags, those days in trunks, as more like an asset, But there are instances where when a child is going to school and there's no money at home or in the house, women go the extra mile to even sell those cloths, sometimes at prices even lower than they bought it, just to raise funds to take care of the kids. When a child is sick, most often, there are instances, of course, that men come on board, but women always take that leadership, role, running around, try to send the child to hospital, sometimes drop off the child in school, pick up the child, cook. Even no matter how difficult and tired she is, she still makes sure that the child eats at the right time, prepare the child to school. There are women who have to still, after cooking and feeding the child, have to even make sure that the homework, the child does, she does supervision. So because of that attachment and that daily activity around the child, women are celebrated as something, special. Because, of course, because of that caring characteristics of women, of course, these things are also extended to their husbands or to their partners. So it is not just a child that is celebrating the mother, but even some men celebrate their wife because their wives take care of them just like their mothers would do. And so that is why Mother's Day is a special day. Of course, we know that there are some mothers who have not really taken that mothering care and love towards their children. But if you look at statistics in terms of percentage, I think we should have more than 80% of women really showing that care. Women at times, if there isn't much food in the house, they will prefer that the child eats first. When the child is satisfied, the leftover is what they would eat. Sometimes, yes, they are doing that not because they are not hungry, but because they always want the child to get the best. There's always this statement that we cook, but normally the best meat and the best part of the meat goes to the man and sometimes the children. Not because we really do not want to really eat the best part of the food, but there's that caring features or characteristics of women that sometimes we feel that when people around us are satisfied, it gives us that joy. And joy naturally brings strength. So the joy of others brings strength to us. And we know that when women are empowered, most often it brings some kind of joy to the house. We have some homes that though the man and the woman are working, or both parents are working, but you cannot really, or the man cannot really account for his salary. There are some men, the woman cannot even dare ask you, what do you do with your salary? But when the woman brings her salary home, of course, we'll make sure that everything that the house needs or the home needs to make life comfortable is provided. Of course, this is also not to say that all women do that. I know there are some women that their husbands will also complain that they don't know what they do with their salary. But there's always a statement that, as for a man's money, it's for the woman, but the woman's money is for herself or for maybe her parents or her extended family. But just to say that women have these special caring characteristics, and because of the extra effort they do, especially raising kids, that is why the day is really celebrated as a great day. And of course, the statement that if you educate a woman, you educate a nation, and when you educate a man, you educate an individual, still plays in the sense that when a woman is empowered, as I indicated, you can feel that at home. But there are times you see a rich man's children and they are still lacking because men sometimes look elsewhere, not necessarily home. But the woman will always, hardly will you see a wealthy woman family struggling. There are instances where you can see a wealthy man's family struggling because, of course, there are other factors influencing that. But I would say that for that caring,
because he doesn't want to spoil them.
That caring nature of women.
The man does that because he doesn't want to spoil them. He wants them to. He wants to raise them the hard way.
Well, that's still the statement that when a child becomes wayward, the man will say, "Hey, Ama, Kasashoba, or Ama, talk to your daughter, talk to your son."
Yes.
When the child does well,
he's the father.
That is my boy. That is my girl. That's okay. But for women, well, we take it wholeheartedly. We will always, talk to them cry with them when they have to cry
as far,
and support them.
That's my boy.
That's my daughter.
That's my daughter.
My daughter is brilliant. My
Oh,
yes.
gosh.
And when she goes to do something, have you seen how
the men wish
you've raised your
we're
child?
also celebrated like this on Father's Day? As far as we have been shortchanged.
Some men are celebrated on Father's
Oh, yes.
Day. I
Oh,
celebrate
yes.
my
Very few of
father.
us.
Like
on
she
Father's
said,
Day.
I also have such a...
Very few of us.
If you have a good father, you celebrate.
I
Most of you
always
are not
go-
good fathers.
Look at the buzz and the razzmatazz and things that is characterized Mother's Day. When it comes to Father's Day, small team,
Because a lot of people do not have such experiences
I
with their
think
fathers.
it's just
Fathers.
because of the person. There are some men, as she said,
Yes.
who are so fantastic, just like women.
We're not
I also
celebrated
have
enough.
a
Look at what
dad.
Ellen
I
hates
always-
about her dad today. Fantastic.
Oh, yes.
How many women
Because,
will do
yes.
this? When you
And there are some men,
when
like
you
they
put
say,
10
you collect the
children together,
salary.
7 of them are telling you that they don't even know their fathers.
So shouldn't you be talking to the men?
No, we have to.
Exactly.
You people to Charlie, wake up. Do better. Look at Mother's Day yesterday. Everybody's talking about
Everybody's
it. The
talking
whole
about
world.
it.
When
Yes,
comes
the
to
whole
Father's Day,
sermon.
nobody's talking
My
about
church,
us.
the sermon was all about Mother's Day.
Oh, this is sad. Very sad. But closely related to this, it's a matter which I think I heard about it sometime in April. So there's a very interesting article here which has been put together by the person actually doesn't add his or her name, but this is how it puts. It's actually so it's Professor Victor Wuto. Yes, it's an opinion he was expressing on this matter. It says Ghana's parliament and the fight over who your father is. And it says in April 2026, a short news item slipped into Ghana's headlines, and it lit a fire. Parliament to pass a bill for compulsory paternity test for every child born in Ghana. Now, the MP behind it is Yakubu Mohammed, representing Ahafuano Southeast. His private member's bill would force a DNA test to every baby before the birth certificate is stamped. Now, his argument is simple. Enhance trust between partners, reduce doubts and breaches of trust. Guarantee that fathers take full responsibility. Apparently, he's not alone. Kwame Asare-Obeng, who's the MP for Goma Central, better known as A+, has already drafted a second bill, and it goes further. Criminalize paternity fraud with prison terms for women who deliberately impose pregnancies on innocent men and make DNA testing mandatory immediately after delivery. Now, what the bill actually says, Yakubu Mohammed's bill, every child born in Ghana gets a paternity test, framing family harmony, child's rights to know and leave to fully enjoy family life without any doubt. It says plans are far advanced to push it through. A+'s bills goes punitive, jail time for women who knowingly name the wrong man, and then plus mandatory testing at birth. His line, every woman who gets pregnant knows the father of a child. Don't pin the pregnancy on someone who did not get you pregnant. And he says, together they would make Ghana the first country in the world to mandate a DNA at birth for all citizens. Suddenly, Parliament isn't just debating budget, it's debating biology. The bills didn't come from nowhere. They ride on 3 waves. 1, the numbers that shock. It says private labs in Accra and Kumasi reports a surge in peace of mind tests. Blueprint DNA's 2022 study claims 70% of contested children tested were not biologically related to the presumed fathers, and 40% of the men were victims of paternity fraud. A+ repeats a version on TikTok. It says out of 10 women who come for DNA test, about 4 do not have children belonging to their partners. Let's bear in mind that those stats are from disputed cases, not all births. But in politics, perception moves faster than footnotes. Now, he says that the culture shift, TikTok and YouTube have turned paternity into a public spectacle. In February 2026, Parliament itself trended as DNA lab after rumors swirled around 2 MPs and paternity scandals. No evidence, but the mood was set. Baby daddy season has arrived. Now, there's a legal gap. Ghana's courts still lean on the customary law. The adoring naming ceremony is treated as an irrebuttable presumption of fatherhood. Once a man names a child, society and family tribunals expect him to maintain the child, regardless of biology. But judges are increasingly ordering DNA in maintenance and inheritance fight. The bills try to drag the law from custom to double helix. Those in favor of the bills, when you talk to supporters, you hear 5 themes. 1, justice for men. For too long, Ghanaian society has turned a blind eye to a silent crisis eroding families. Paternity fraud. Men pay school fees, light bills, and bride price for children who aren't theirs with no legal recourse until it is too late. And then the second theme is identity for the children. Article 7 of the UN Child Rights Convention. Every child has a right to know their parents. Early DNA locks in medical history, inheritance, and bloodline before attachments form. Third theme, cleaner courts. Family tribunals are clogged with maintenance cases where paternity is denied. Universal testing at birth ends the is he or isn't she phase and enables DSD to access support from day one. And then the fourth theme is deterrence. If jail is on the table, the logic goes, fewer people will lie. A+ frames it a legislative hammer to protect family values, child identity, and men's rights. 5, trust. Yakub Mohammed insists the bill will enhance trust between partners and spouses and promote harmony by removing suspicion from the start. Now, those against the bill, these are the issues that have come up. 1, interested, the 5 themes come to life for those opposed to the bill. Critics from women's rights groups to lawyers see a different picture. 1, there's privacy and consent issues. Ghana's Data Protection Act calls genetic data sensitive, compelling 900,000 mothers a year to submit their child's DNA reverses the presumption of innocence. No other democracy does this. France bans private paternity tests without a court order. 2, there's also cost and capacity. A DNA test is about 800 to 2,000 privately. Nationalized, that's about 720 million cedis to 1.8 billion a year. That's half of the NHI's budget. Before you build labs in Wadiwali, Funsi, and Tanyigbe, who pays? There's family fallout. A negative result minutes after delivery could trigger abandonment, violence, depression, or suicide. Social fatherhood is real in Ghana, and there's many men knowingly raise non-biological children. Should the state force that disclosure and risk collapse of functional families? Number 4, criminalization backfires. Proving a woman knowingly named the wrong man is legally murky. Defense lawyers warn the bill could jail rape victims, women with failed contraception, or those in abusive marriages, too scared to name the real father. And there's 5, data sovereignty. Ghana just rejected U.S. health aid tied to sensitive health data, creating a state DNA database for every citizen. Runs counter to that same sovereignty argument. Who secures it? Who gets access? The law, they say, is what the lawmaker says it is. That's true. Until the Constitution, cost and culture answer back. Parliament can pass the bill. The Supreme Court can strike them down in Article 18 privacy grounds. Nurses can refuse to draw blood. Mothers can deliver at home. And if 30% families reject the law, it becomes another unenforced statute, like the old seatbelts rule in Trotros. As one lawyer put it, you can legislate DNA, you can't legislate trust. How do you enact a law based on the findings of a private company that has vested interest in the outcome? Have we considered the possibility that the results being discussed were cooked by the lab to its business? This could be a pure marketing gimmick. I foresee 3 fiery battles. 1, committee stage. Hearings, FIDA, Ghana, traditional councils, and DNA labs will all testify with very different interests. Election math. With 2028 coming, MPP and NDC will calculate whether defender of men or defender of mothers wins more votes. It says, in customary Ghana, it is said, father is the one who raises you. Biology Ghana says, father is the one who shares your DNA. These bills force a choice. Ghana operates a plural legal system and incorporates common law, customary law, and constitutional law. Let's see how we navigate this legal conundrum. This is good for democracy. Is this about time for DNA test, paternity test, Prof?
Well, for me,
Yes.
going for paternity test, there's nothing wrong about it. But
Okay.
to say that it should be compulsory, I don't know, as a country, if that is a priority for us. Like the concluding part of your write-up, I was actually trying to find how much does it really cost to do a DNA test. And we are talking about 2,000 to 3,000 thereabouts.
Right.
Who is going to fund it if it is compulsory? Is it the parents or government would fund it or add it to the NHIS service that is granted the public? So I will not shy away from a DNA test because, of course, we are seeing a lot more of these paternity fraud as is being discussed. What I would probably maybe recommend is the fact that maybe conducting a DNA test should be made more cheaper so that couples can easily walk in. To just sometimes your curiosity to really know the father of, or the father of the children that you have. That is, if these couples seems to doubt each other. You know, there are some instances, of course, couples may have that doubt. They should not wait for a court to order that go into a paternity test. It should be said that you can just walk to any health facility and do that, just like an individual can just walk to any health facility and say, oh, I want to do, maybe I'm not feeling well, I've treated malaria, so I want to try typhoid or something else, test for typhoid. It should be that people should be able to walk in and do any of this. But it should not be, because now when you look at this whole argument, it looks like the issue is more towards the women, that women are kind of deceiving men when it comes to children. But, you know, just off camera, we're talking about instances where, of course, we have men who also go out there and have kids sometimes without the knowledge of their wife or their partners. But in African society or in a Ghanaian context, it's like, it's okay if a man go out there and, you know, have children outside with that, but it is an abomination when a woman does that. I mean, for me, it's about our morals. If you are a partner, you should be open to each other. If for some reason a man doubts a child that he feels he has fathered, they should not wait for a court to decide that go and do a DNA test. I feel it should be open. For you to say that you are going to promote a bill to have a compulsory DNA test, I think that as a country, we have more pressing issues that we should be dealing with. For now, we are still struggling with bread and butter. That even though there is bumper harvest, we are talking about food gluts, there are still people who are still struggling. Just recently, issue of accommodation came up, that some individuals think that students are being ripped off. We have very high hostel prices in our various universities. Aside that, there are Ghanaians who are struggling with accommodation. There are people struggling for what we call the basic needs of life. Hospital, no bed syndrome. These are basic needs. They are not privileged. It is not a privilege to get a health care. It is not a privilege as a Ghanaian to have an accommodation. It is your right that as a citizen you should have this. It is not a privilege to eat 3 times a day. It is a right. That is basic needs. So for me, as an individual, I will say that I do not shine away from a DNA test, but it should not be something that we should say that it should be compulsory. Because one, do we have the facility to do that? If we are saying we are 30 million people and women, or let's say the adults, I don't know our percentage, but if we are saying that about 50% of these individuals are within the brackets we are talking about, do we have the health facility to be able to carry out these tests? Who borne the cost if partners are supposed to do these tests? Is government ready to also subsidize the price if government had to come in and support? These are questions that maybe we should be asking. What I would suggest is that DNA tests should be something that should not require a court order. It should be something that one can easily walk in, just like you're going to do any other test. When you think that you are feeding somebody you think doesn't resemble you, their behavior is strange, you don't have that type of behavior in the family, and you want to really know who you are feeding, you should be able to do it without being ordered by a court to do that. And so I support the idea that people should, but not necessarily having a bill that should force everybody to do that. Because, of course, like you rightly said, There are people who have kept this a secret for 40 years, and you can just imagine what will happen. But of course, paternity fraud, I think it should. I don't know what to say. It should be criminalized, but it is not right. It is good for people to know who they are actually fathering.
Okay.
If for some reason the partners decide that we want to go and adopt a child, that is something that they have agreed. There are times parents, some partners, maybe the woman have problem with her egg, they want to go and get somebody's egg, but that egg does not mean that the child will be from the donor. That is something both have agreed. There are also instances where maybe the man's sperm has a problem, and so he wants to go and borrow or whatever, get a sperm from someone. That is something the two parties have agreed, and so it should not be that party or partners should hide or do certain things that it should cause for one asking for a DNA test. But as I said, it should not be something that's a very cumbersome process. It should just walk to any health facility. As partners, we want to check. We have a child and want to check whether this child is really our child. Because there are, of course, instances, it's not something, it may be real, but there can be instances where babies can be swapped. So it's unknown to both parents. Maybe that facility may have so much cases at a particular day, and nurses can mistakenly swap kids. There can also be instances where it's an arranged swap. I want a male child. Somebody has given birth to a female child. Somebody has given birth to a male child. I arrange with the nurse to swap. These things can happen. I'm not saying they are happening. They can happen. So in that instance, if you do a DNA test, it gives more clarity to these things. So DNA test, I totally support it, but not as compulsory. It should be voluntary if you want to do it.
Yeah, Ellen, I'm sure you do too. There are instances where women come under a lot of pressure, and sometimes, let's say, if you're married to somebody for say 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, there's no child, and the same father and then maybe that you would maybe want to suggest to your husband that, look, can we go and do a test and see whether we're fine?
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.